BTBT is back with podcast episode 47, a special Taster's Choice Edition show. This week, the First Lady of BTBT and co-owner of Absurd Conclave and Juice Garden BK, the lovely Rachael, joins us. And special guest who's appeared in 3 previous blogs, but making his first official appearance is my nephew and official motherfucking BTBT goon, Kevin. The 3 of us have very different palates, and we review and critique 3 very different yet very delicious brews. Now, there's some drunk free handling of the mics, so the audio levels vary a little bit at times, but don't worry about that because it's a really fun episode with honest feedback and a few off-topic tangents, which we know you'll enjoy. Did you know the BTBT store is up and running? Go check out the BTBT store at beertomorrow.com and purchase your logo t-shirts and 16-ounce logo glassware today. All proceeds from the shirts and glassware get reinvested in BTBT and allow us to provide you with bigger, better, and more robust content. So get your BTBT goods at the BTBT store at beertomorrow.com today. Now, let's get right into this week's show. Cheers. Hey, what's going on? This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow, back at it with a very special edition of the show. We are in the heart of North Fork, Long Island. And I'm here today with the lovely Rachael. Rachael, how you doing?
Hello, hello.
And I'm here with a certified BTBT goon, my little nephew, Kevin. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm happy to be here. How you doing?
I'm excellent. So this is a very special show. This is a Taster's Choice show, if you will. We have 3 beers that we're about to run through and talk about for you guys. The first is by Guten Carolus. It's Cuvée van de Keizer. This one clocks in at 11%. So every year on the 24th of February, Het Anker Brews, Guten Carolus Cuvée, van de Keizer Blauw, I may have butchered that name, which basically translates into Grand Cru of the Emperor, celebrates the birth of Charles V. This exceptional dark ale ages well, developing a refined complexity and an intense aroma, or rather intense aromas. It's an imperial brew to cherish and enjoy in moderation, and they're really not kidding about moderation, guys. Why don't we all take a sip and let's savor this? I mean, you look just kind of describing the color for everyone. This is very dark brown, not porter or stout dark, but it's like a dark brown. I mean, you get immediately you get all these robust spices on the nose. I mean, this is a complex Belgian brew that we are about to sink our teeth in, so to speak, right now. Let me give that a try. Bitches, this is good. Nice.
Well, I gotta say, it is really tasty. It smells nice and it smells creamy and it tastes creamy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a nice malty sweetness there in the backbone. I mean, there's a lot of these different herbs and spices going on in here. Kevin, what do you think of this one?
Honestly, this is fantastic. The flavor really, it pops out immediately.
Excellent. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know that you tend to gravitate to the Belgian styles, the heavier Belgian styles, the doubles and triples. And Rachael, for you, I know you're not big on those styles, but you do enjoy this one, huh?
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. I can see myself pairing this up with something, like a dessert or something like that. And then, believe it or not, I think this would go well with even a rack of lambs or something.
Which we got going on in the oven behind us right now.
Yeah, that's what we're cooking right now.
I am actually excited to be trying some of this lamb. I cannot wait. We've been drinking for a good portion of the day, but again, today is the special Taster's Choice Edition, a little bit of a shortened episode where we talk about 3 specific beers. Now, we started with a big heavy hitter, 11%. Really, really enjoying this. Before this, we had a bunch of IPAs and double IPAs. So, Kevin, how do you compare and contrast these styles?
This definitely, of all the beers we've had today, this definitely has, I think, the most flavor to it, the most pop to it when you're drinking it. You can definitely taste the heavier percentage of alcohol in it.
For sure.
But it's blended well. It's not overpowering. It's not. It doesn't take over the alcohol percentage. Does not take over the taste. It's blended very well. And as Rachel said, there's a creamy type of flavor to it when you're taking a sip. And this is actually
It's velvety almost, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
This is definitely one of the better beers we've had today by far.
Yeah, and I know that there is some hype, a little bit of hype around these beers. It's a Belgian strong dark ale, and anytime you do a Belgian strong dark ale, well, sign me up. I'm in. I'm in for it. For those of you beer advocate nerds, this gets a rating of 4.3 out of 5. But let's give it the beer today, beer tomorrow rating, which is really the most important rating we could give it. And we'll rate it on 3 areas. We'll rate it on look, on smell, and on taste. So starting with the look, I'll go first. We'll do it on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
like, what scale are we
No, we got to do the scale 1 to 5, but you can do it by points. So you can give it, a 4 point, 3 point, whatever. So looking at this, the color, I like this. It's a nice, robust, dark, deep brown. For a color, I would give it personally a 4.1 on the color. Rachel, what would you give the color?
I like this color. But then you know what? It kind of also reminds me of like you guys gonna kill me, but like a lemonade kind of color, sort of, but like a creamier one.
You mean like an alcoholic lemonade? Because
Yeah,
this is
sure.
not a light colored beer
no,
whatsoever.
that's what I'm saying. Like a dark.
This is like a
very
cola-
concentrated lemonade, dark color. Am I saying lemonade or iced tea? I'm sorry, iced tea. Like a really concentrated iced tea kind of colored drink. It's beautiful, and I love the foam on the top. It gives it a nice.
It's a nice lacing at the top.
Nice lacing on the top. I would say I'd give it a 4.
Okay, Kevin.
Honestly, I have to agree with what Rachel was saying. Give it a 4. I get what you were saying about the type of a darkened iced tea, or almost like you were saying, almost a light cola type of look to it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many beers that actually have this specific shade of color before, so it's very, very interesting. I like it.
Very cool. And again, just to specify for our audience, this is the 2017 variety of the Cuvée Van de Keizer by Goon Carolus. So there we go. So now moving on to smell. Just taking a deep so the audience can. No, there's no powder here. We are smelling beer, and it smells very nice.
No white snow here.
No snow here. This, I get a bit of the malt definitely comes through on the nose.
Give me a second. I'm gonna check on the rack of lambs.
Okay, Rachel's gonna go check on that lamb. Me and Kevin are gonna keep smelling. There's definitely some toffee there. You get a little bit of the spice, even a touch of caramel, I feel.
I can see where you're getting that from. Yeah.
And so on the smell, I would give it a 4.4.
I think I just give it a solid straight 4 on this. I mean, you're definitely more of the beer expert than I am with identifying the different types of specific ingredients that are in the smell, but it's definitely pleasant. Definitely something that you can't say anything bad about it, honestly. It's
I agree. No, I agree. Rachel, do you want to weigh in on the smell, or can we just assume that you liked it?
I like it. Just give me a second.
Okay. So Rachel's in the middle of a few things here. But yeah, so just moving on to the taste again, I mean, it's full bodied. There are some nice there's a nice sweetness there, bit of spices. It all comes together quite well. I think this is a very well done beer. Ultimately, I think I would give it on taste, I would give it a 4.4. And overall, I would recommend this beer. If you're a fan of the Belgian style, I would say this is certainly worth drinking. It's not the best Belgian I've had, but it certainly is a quality brew that I would drink again in the future. Kevin?
On taste, I would have to give it a 4.7. I mean, as you stated earlier in the podcast, I am definitely biased towards the Belgian brews.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, definitely isn't. But this is definitely one of the better Belgian style beers I've had, simply because of just the explosion of flavor. I think once you taste it,
it just explodes in your mouth, wouldn't you say?
Honestly, it's just it's a great the combination of flavor. It's great, and like I said before, the percentage of alcohol does not overpower the taste. It's a great Belgian style, honestly, great.
Couldn't agree more. So I'm enjoying this. We're about to finish this, and then we're going to move on to another beer. But I have to say, Kevin, I am excited about the 25th anniversary of Raw coming up.
So am I. Especially somebody who grew up during the Attitude Era when wrestling was at its peak. It's going to be great to see a lot of these old school guys come back.
Absolutely, and this is going to air after Raw airs, but it's going to air the same week. But yeah, it's a whole bunch of old school old school Attitude Era guys are being lined up and gals.
You even said too, as you were telling me the list of people. There's even some people from because this is before my time, but you grew up in what they call the golden era with the '80s. So you said Ted DiBiase's going to be there.
Yeah,
some of the people too. So
I'm hoping maybe we get a Hogan.
If Hogan comes out, I might mark out.
What you gonna do, brother? Yeah, I would love if Hogan came out. I know they got some issues there with the WWE and such, but honestly, I would mark out hard if Hogan came back. And then who knows? Stone Cold, of course. I think he's going to be there.
He's going to stun at least a couple people, drink a beer or two.
Oh, I hope he stuns a few people. And then we got who else we got going on there? A whole ton of people. So I'm excited. This could be one of the last for the old school wrestling heads, for the the people who like the golden era, and more so the people who like the Attitude Era. This could be one of those last big events where.
Especially with me. I mean, I know both of us were kind of on the same page. Whereas maybe the in-ring quality, as far as the athletic ability, is probably the highest it's ever been, but the entertainment value, as far as the storylines and the booking, it's not as good as it could have been. So it's really disappointed in the product overall over the last 5 to 10 years or so. But so the little nostalgia will kick in during this 25th anniversary, and I'm very looking forward to that.
Absolutely. But I agree. I think the in-ring talent today is probably better than it's ever actually been. But with that said, I do think as far as storytelling, in and out of the ring, just setups, build-ups to matches, and then the stories that are told within the matches, I feel like the Golden Era, and then especially the Attitude Era, there's no comparison. I think the Golden Era had was all about focusing on characters. So I think for the most part, the Golden Era had bigger characters, but I think the Attitude Era brought together the characters and the storytelling, and then pushed it to another level because of the whole Monday Night Wars.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, and also
competition. With the competition, you had to pull out all the stops every week to make sure that you had the best possible
product. Yeah, and then of course with ECW as well, pushing them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, excited for the Raw 25th anniversary. Excited to see what happens there. Rachel has rejoined us. So Rachel,
I feel like I missed out a lot.
You missed a bit, but if you want to give because we're about to move on to the next beer, if you want to just kind of give your final opinion on the smell and on the taste, and then kind of overall of the 2017 Cuvée Vin de Keizer Guten Carolus Belgian Dark Strong Ale, weighing in at 11% ABV. Please describe this mahogany colored delight that is currently in your hands.
Alrighty. All right. I already said the color. I gave it a 4. Now I'm up to the smell, right? Okay. It has a nice sweetness to it. That's why I think that would pair nicely with a dessert. And usually I tend to go for something sweet. I like sweet. I would definitely give it like a 4.3 for sweetness.
Well, smell overall, right?
For smell. I usually like sweet, but honestly, it has a very nice aroma. Very, very sweet. Very, but it's not too sweet. So it has like a nice little balance. It has some nice balance to it. So
it is finely balanced.
What is the last category? Sorry.
Oh, and then overall.
Overall, I would give it 4.2.
Okay. Fair. And that's little Derek in the background. So fair enough. Okay, so now we are moving on. People, please finish. Well, you've got quite a bit. You can take your time. Yes, you can take your time with that. We are moving on to the next beer. Kevin, can you please hand me the next beer? Number 2 on the top 3. Now we're going with, is this real life IPA from Single Cut, based out of Astoria, Queens, my home. 7.2% ABV. Single Cut, what can I say about these guys? I mean, they say mastery knows no shortcut. They are awesome. I love what they do. This is actually, I don't know if this is for real, but they did say this is the final run that they're doing of Is This Real Life, and then they're going to retire it. It's one of their classic.
Why?
I don't know. That's a question. I got to I got to get at my man Dan Bronson over at Single Cut, and I got to ask him what's going on, why they're doing this. But this is one of their classic single IPAs. They describe it as having, full of sweet grapefruit, touch of dark mango, nose of bubblegum, and underripe pineapple. It's it's an original combination of PNW and New Zealand hops. They say it has a total of 109 IBUs, but IBUs is interesting. It's another conversation for another time, but IBUs is really subjective, and measuring IBUs, the International Bitterness Units, is actually a bit difficult to do, and what some people say and how to measure it and the way it's measured is oftentimes not in alignment, but who cares? Good beers, who cares how many IBUs it is? It's a bitter juice bomb, and we are excited here. We're about to give this a try, and I'm getting excited as Kevin is pouring it.
I finished my drink.
Wow, Rachel, you did pound that. Yeah. So props to Rachel.
Thank you.
She caught up quite quick. And now we're moving on to Is This Real Life? And this was actually just released in can form on Wednesday the 10th. So super fresh beer. Super excited. Cheers to all.
Wait, I have to give Kevin props on the pour. Look at that.
Kevin, excellent with the pour. There's a nice bit of white lacing that's retained throughout. I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of head? And he poured it out evenly, and let's all give this a taste. Let's take a moment here. All cheers.
Right.
Cheers.
No, salud.
Salud, prost. Let's give this a taste.
One of the last few.
That is nice. That is a really well done IPA. I am a fan. I am a big fan of Is This Real Life. Love the name.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, this is kind of sad that they're actually going to stop this. It's really good.
I hope it's just a marketing gimmick to get people to buy more of it.
He's like, we're selling out. You better get it.
Yeah, because this is a really good brew. It's solid. And IPAs, it's a big IPA. It's around standard for IPAs, but it's a big beer in the fact that it's a little over 7% or so. But it's certainly very sessionable. It's a beer you could have more than one in a session of. Like you could drink more than one of these in a session. And sorry, there's two small children in the background playing Nintendo 2DS, and they're attempting 3DS. Sorry. 3DS. It's not. I'm sorry. It's 3DS. It's 3DS. It's yes. It's X, the XL version. So no, yeah. This is a damn good beer. I really like this. I'm a fan. So let's just go. So from the smell. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let's start by the look. I mean, the coloring. I would say the coloring, there's nothing spectacular about the color. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very nicely colored beer, but, the coloring...
stand out.
Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't necessarily stand out as far as the coloring. And Rachel, would you agree?
The coloring, it's pretty... it's a beer. Yeah. It looks like you're...
Not standing out isn't a bad thing sometimes.
Yeah.
It's solid. It looks great, but you're not going to pour it and think, wow, like I've never seen something like that before,
Yeah.
Fair enough. And I think that's fair. And that's not a detraction to the beer. It's a great beer, but it kind of the coloring is indeed what it is. Moving on to the smell. They did mention a few things in their description being single cut, and I think for the most part it's kind of on the money. I definitely get citrus. Citrusy fruits. I definitely get the mango.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, you definitely smell the mango.
Yeah, the mango is pretty pronounced, and I always like that in an IPA. And that of course you can contribute to the hops, but the look is about a 4. I'll just give it a 4 because it's standard run of the mill. There's nothing that separates this from a look standpoint to other IPAs. The smell is very nice. I would give the smell at least a 4.5.
I would have to agree with that. And then this is coming from somebody who is not a huge fan of IPAs or double IPAs or anything like that. I know that IPAs and double IPAs are definitely more your...
Yeah, they're in my wheelhouse. Yeah.
Whereas, as we said before, I'm definitely more of the Belgian style, but this smells fantastic. You can get the citrusy and the mango in it, and this smells fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Rachel, any final words on the smell?
You know what? When I sniff, wait, hold on, sorry. Taking a sniff, honestly, I get really nice tropical, notes from it. So I would definitely give it a 4.5. I would agree. It's very nice. It's a very nice to the nose. Then when you taste it, it's really refreshing. It has that nice refreshing taste, and it's delicious. And what's really cool is that it's not sweet. It has like a nice subtleness to it. With it's like a nice balance between like sweetness and bitterness. And I think it's that IPA.
I like what you said about like the tropical, tropicalness to it, because I could see myself, vacationing on a beach, just relaxing and drinking a few of these, just cut loose and start off a nice afternoon. It's got that type of vibe to it with the smell and the taste.
Yeah, and what I also like about this, a lot of the IPAs and double IPAs, they tend to be super bitter, and this has a nice bitter kick to it, but the fact that the bitterness is not at the forefront makes this a more sessionable IPA. Yeah. I like this beer quite a bit. I would say my rating as far as taste, I would give it a 4.5. And then overall, and again, we're not averaging these numbers out. We're just kind of talking shit off the top of our heads based on how we feel. And that's what drinking beers is. It's how you feel, how you like the beer. It's your palate. It's your taste. It's subjective. But fuck if you don't agree with me. I think this overall, 4.4, 4.5, I would say. 4.4. I would say 4.4 overall, factoring in look, smell, taste.
All right. So, I mean, taste-wise, I would definitely give this probably a 4.3. As somebody who's not a huge fan of IPAs, this is actually something that I would very much enjoy to drink. I would definitely have more of this. I would definitely, want to keep drinking this if we had more to taste. This is actually a very, very tasty beer. Overall, I would have to give it just probably a solid 4.0. It's nothing. Mostly just because I think the look of the beer, as far as it.
I don't know, Kev. I thought for a second you were gonna give it a lot more than that.
No, I think just because the look is nothing special. I feel like the average look kind of will take down the total grade, but the smell and the taste of it is just
It brought it up.
Yeah, it did.
And you know what? There's bigger and better IPAs, but for what it is and how it is, and especially if you want to extend your drinking and you like this style, that's why I gave it the rating I did. But I respect Kevin's rating.
Well, look,
no. Look, hey, it's subjective.
You're an IPA guy.
No, that's true.
That's true.
I'm honestly not. And honestly, one of the reasons why I like this beer a lot is based off of what you said. Where you said the bitterness doesn't hit you all at once. It's more kind of like an after. You get all this these flavors, and then the bitterness kind of comes afterwards. What I never liked about IPAs and double IPAs was that the bitterness kind of just
assaults you.
Yeah.
Well, people call them palate wreckers because you go for an IPA, especially a double IPA.
I wouldn't start my night with an IPA though.
Yeah.
But this would be one that you kind of could though. That's why.
Yeah, this one is okay.
This is something you could start your night with, and you could keep drinking throughout the whole night. It's not. It doesn't overtake, everything else.
I have to say that I'm a fan of the sours.
I know that you are.
Yes, I do.
I know that you are.
And I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I was really not expecting to be a huge fan of the sours. But you know what? Trying different sours from different brewers, I gotta say, I'm becoming a fan.
Sours are
absolutely
good.
They are. And Rachel, any final words on your rating on this beer?
Okay.
I know you're not a big.
We're taking it back to the IPA.
And this is what's interesting here. We have 3 people here with 3 very distinct styles and preferences. So now you heard me, you heard Kevin. Shout out to my little nephew, and now my lovely Rachel. What do you think?
All right. So I would definitely say a solid 4.3.
That's pretty high for you for an IPA.
Yes, I know. I'm not a huge IPA person, just like Kevin. Not huge, but what I have to agree with Kev is the fact that this, the bitterness doesn't assault you right on the in the forefront. And because in my case, I'm not a huge on IPA and all that, and it's because of the bitterness. I'm not very big on bitter. But you know what? This is nice. It starts off, it's not sweet, but it has that nice little tropical feel in the beginning. And then it's subtle, and then at the end it ends with a nice little bitterness to it. So it's a nice drink. It's really genuinely, if you're not into IPAs and you want to just give it a try, I would say give this one a try before it's done. Yeah. So technically, when is it supposed to be?
Well, this is their last run. I know I believe they still have cans left at the brewery.
So this is like literally the last batch.
That's
Kev,
what I heard.
Hello.
This is good. I would recommend anybody to get this because they're definitely not lying when they say they have the citrus and the sweet mango. You can definitely taste it immediately. It's one,
Okay, so we lucked out. This is like one of the last batch. If you're listening right now, go run to Single Cut if you're nearby. Get the last one. This is your last chance because they swear that this is done. But you know what? Maybe they're trying to mix it up. Maybe they're trying to put something new.
Well, anything Single Cut does, I'm with it. And I got to be honest, they're also doing a wide distribution. I love Single Cut. I try to get out there as often as I can. But you know what? This I actually picked up at a local spot, at a local beer shop. So, go to the brewery or try to find it in your local spot if you are local as far as New York. Yeah, it's worth it. I like it.
Cool.
Okay. Any words before we move on? Or are we ready to move on?
I think we're ready to move on.
All right. So here is our last beer of the evening. I'm excited about this. I think you guys are going to like this.
This is not the last one for the evening.
No,
for the podcast.
This is the last one for the show. I mean, there's been several before this. I mean, before this, I can't even. I mean, we had a Fat Tire from New Belgium.
My gosh, I have to say, I really, really like that one.
And I got to be honest.
Wait. What? I'm like, okay, educate me. I'm not very, I can pretend to be like super savvy when it comes to craft beer, but in reality, I'm not really am. But so wait, what kind of beer is Flat Tire? Technically,
is it Flat Tire?
Is it Fat Tire? Oh wait, I thought it was Flat Tire.
No, I think it's Fat Tire.
Oh damn, I'm totally messing it up.
That's
too.
okay. And the beer you had, funny story. So my dad has a wine cellar, and he'll store some of his beer there occasionally. And this beer that we had was pretty old, I gotta say. And
held up, though.
And yes, and
was
shout out to
good,
Fat. It was a Fat Tire Amber Ale from New Belgium Brewing Company. And I understand they're not exactly setting the world on fire, but basically it was an amber ale. And you know what? For what it was, it was kind of an easy drinking. It was an easy drinking brew.
As you said, it wasn't going to set the world on fire.
It doesn't set the world on fire.
It's a nice transition beer in between.
Yes.
Between what we were drinking and what.
No. I gotta say, I really like that one. I could drink that all night.
What was that one beer? The blue pale ale. What was that? What was I love?
So before this, we had several beers. Okay, so we had
several. Yeah.
How many?
We had the Blue Box 10.5% by Mustache Brewery, which is actually a local Riverhead brewery. And that blew me away. That was so good.
I didn't have any of that.
That was. I'm sorry. You missed. No. It's okay. We have one upstairs. Yeah. There's one left.
You gotta try some of the last one.
All right.
That actually really surprised me.
So shout out to my pops. My pops actually picked up a 4-pack. And then he ended up getting it from the supermarket, but he called the brewery because he's like, I'm just curious, like, you guys have this in stock. And my dad actually, the person who picked up, he actually said, congratulations, this is a really good beer. Yeah. And they said, well, thank you for letting us know. So,
amazing.
I think they appreciated that. Come on.
If what he was telling me too, he said that he kind of came across the beer by accident. So this man, his wine knowledge, even somehow. Allows him to guess right on a random beer too. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean he knew we were coming out here, so he's like, let me get some beers. He was and you know what? His beer palate is really good. He loves the Belgian styles, and he likes the IPAs and double IPAs and that Blue Box from Mustache. I've had several beers from Mustache. That was the best beer from Mustache I've ever had.
I feel like I totally got gypped right now.
You did. We have one left. There's one left.
Right. I better get some.
You will. We also had a Mad Fat Fluid from Interboro. Shout out to Interboro. Mad Fat Fluid is one of my favorite beers my favorite beer that they do, and one of my favorite beers that comes out of New York. Love me some Mad Fat Fluid, which of course is an ode to Nas. Shout out to Nas, Queens all day. And then we also had, Kevin, help me jog my memory. What else did we have?
You can tell how many drinks.
We had Strap Hanger, which Rachael, you want to tell the story really quick? So Rachael walked into KCBC like a pro. She was trying to get a sour.
Wait. Correction. I am not a pro. Let's get that clear.
Like a pro. You came in with your growler in your fancy Gucci bag. You had the growler, and you were like, I forget which beer we were trying to get, but they ran out of that sour because that sour was super dope. I forget the name right now. It escapes me, but they ran out of it literally a day before you went on there on tap. We wanted to get some in the growler. And tell the story real quick, Rachael.
Oh, gosh.
Just real quick.
All right. So, just so you guys have an idea what's going on, is the fact that I am a newbie when it comes to craft beer.
A semi-newbie, because you've been drinking craft beer for over a year now.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that much. So I'm
not in the excess that I do, but you've been drinking it.
All right. So I am a newbie. So I walk in, I see there's an empty table, empty stool right there. Everybody, it's crowded. Everybody's seated. Everybody's drinking and everything. And I could tell, the bartender looks at me. He gives me this look like, okay, I'm going to teach you something. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, listen, I want this drink. You know what? I can't remember for the life of me. I can't remember the drink either. But you know what? I was just like, you know what? Do you have this? And he just looked at me. He's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. No, we just ran out last night. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then he just showed me a menu. He's just like, we got like all these other drinks. I'm like, no, you know what? Forget it. You know what? Let me see your cans. So right there, he's just like looking at me like, okay, like you seem like, your drinks. So I'm like, okay. So I go, so he shows me, he's like, oh, the cans are over here. So I head on over to the other side, and I'm like, all right. And, I open my bag, and I actually have a growler in my bag. And mind you, I'm not, like, hardcore like that. So I kind of just mentioned, I'm like,
you had a nice 32-ounce growler in your bag.
Yeah, hardcore.
So the guy's looking at me like, so which can do you want? And I'm like, you know what? I had a growler on me ready to get the drink. And he's just like, oh my goodness, for real? And I open my bag. I'm like, you see, like I have the growler. And then he looks at me and he starts laughing. He's like, oh my gosh, like his surprise. I'm like, yeah, And then finally, I mean, what drink did I pick out? What was the name of it again?
The one you wanted was Marble of Doom, which is, I believe, was a blackberry pomegranate sour, which was phenomenal.
Yes.
They didn't have that, but when the guy was trying to say, oh, would you like something else? You're like, no, I'll just go for the cans. You went for Strap Hanger.
Yes,
and Strap Hanger is actually an interesting. It's an adjunct. It's a beer brewed with adjuncts, and they use rice. And we all had that before we got on the show. And what did you, Rachael, Kevin, what did you guys think of that?
Surprisingly good. I mean, obviously, I love the artwork on the can too. That just some of the the artwork on the craft beer cans are just out of this world. Honestly,
completely out of this world.
Yeah, but it was a very honestly. I mean, you even saw. I enjoyed that beer very much. I downed that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that went quick.
No, that was really good. I have to say, it was really, really tasty. Little pat on the back on that one, on that selection. I picked that one out. I was like, yep, this is it. I picked it out like I knew, like, yeah, this is the one. I want this one. But in reality, I was just like, okay, I hope this tastes good.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't get a Marble of Doom, which is a beautiful beer, but we did get Strathanger, which was dope, and we had some here tonight. I don't remember what else. Did we have anything beyond that? We had a few kits. Oh, we had the Interboro collab that came out. This was a few weeks ago. This came out in December. This was the collab with Tired Hands. This was the pink. Geez, I don't remember it now, but this was like the collab with Tired Hands. It was pretty good. I enjoyed that as well. It was a tasty beer. What did you think of that one, Kevin?
I honestly, it was definitely good. I wouldn't rank it above some of the things we've drank here today, as far as this beer tasting. but it definitely was some that was solid and some that I would pick up if I could.
It was the Double India Pink Ale, 8% ABV, and that was in collaboration with Tired Hands. There was notes of grapefruit. There was some. I definitely got the peppercorns.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of spiciness there. Not overwhelming, but subtle, which was good. I enjoyed it. The color was phenomenal. It literally looked like grapefruit juice. Mm-hmm. Good beer. Not their best. I was hoping for a little more when you hear Interborough and you hear, who they're, you hear Tired Hands, because both these are fantastic breweries. But still very good. It held up after 5 weeks, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
And see, with me too, I mean, when it comes to grapefruit-style beers, to me, I'm always hit or miss, because it depends to me how they blend the grapefruit with the rest of the ingredients in the beer. So sometimes I'll have a grapefruit beer like we just had previously, and I'll love it. Other times I'll drink it and be a little bit iffy on it, but that one it was definitely good. I definitely enjoyed that. It was definitely a solid beer to...
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to my kids in the background getting angry at video games. And I have to mention, I'm excited this week at Interborough, they're releasing Il Plusmatic, yet another Nas reference. A double IPA, 8% ABV, 25 IBU. Excited about that. That's for another show, though. Rachel, yes.
So... tell me what's the I know you spoke to them, but just in case for those the listeners that didn't get a chance to hear this part, like what's the deal with like the hip hop?
So Interborough, who actually was on our show around this time last year, they were one of the owners, Jesse. He's a really cool dude. He was a DJ, definitely into hip hop, and he just has a lot of beers that are related to hip hop. There's Mad Fat Fluid. Now he's got the Il Plusmatic. Obviously, direct shout out to Illmatic. There's several others, and not just Nas related. They have many beers that tie into the hip hop theme. They also play records. This is the only brewery. It's wild. Like, you'll go in there, and I've been in there at times where they play Illmatic front to back. You don't get that anywhere in New York, let alone a brewery. I say, not only do they make great beer, there is no brewery in New York, and I'll challenge you and say anywhere else, that plays as good music as Interborough does. No question.
Not much beats that 90s, the 90s hip-hop, when hip-hop was, what would you say, late 80s, early 90s hip-hop was the golden era.
Absolutely.
It was, you can't beat that. That actually shocked me when you said that. They play Illmatic front to back.
I was there when they played it front to back.
Front
to back, and that's one of the greatest albums ever.
We got two hip hop heads here.
I don't think there's a single person who takes hip hop seriously who doesn't have that rap album at least in their top 10. At least top 10.
And they actually did a beer collab with Run the Jewels. They did a beer collab with Run the Jewels as well. Good stuff for sure. Digging what they're doing, and then honestly, in one of the episodes, I think in our episode, if you guys listen to that, we actually talk, and I'll let you guys go back and revisit that. But we bring up a Nas verse that Jesse says, you know what, that would be an interesting name for a beer. And a couple of months ago, they dropped a beer with that name. So that's a little fun fact. BTB. No, you guys got to go back, check out the episode. It was from last January. You're going to twist my arm and make me say it, or go back and go check it. Go back and go check it. But we were talking about this. There was a Nas line that came up somehow, and he was like, you know what? That would be a good name for a beer. And of course, you could see he was like, mental check. And you know what? A couple of months ago, they dropped a beer with that name. But anyway, we are moving on to the final beer of the show, and not the night. Yeah, the label is awesome. I love Grimm. Grimm is coming. They're opening up a brewery in Brooklyn very soon. It's supposed to have been happening for a while.
Brooklyn
We're waiting for it.
Crazy.
Brooklyn's up and coming, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's the border of Brooklyn, Queens. It's going to be where
like Ridgewood.
Yeah, it's going to be like Ridgewood-esque. Yeah, but near where Bridge and Tunnel is.
Okay.
Shout out to Rich. So now we're drinking Grimm. We are going to be drinking Galaxy Pop to end our show. It's a desert Berliner Weisse style ale brewed with Galaxy hops, vanilla, and milk sugar. This should be served between 45 and 50 degrees. And this is at a 4.8% ABV. This was bottled and distributed starting in December. Let's give this a try, and let's give one final toast for the show. Here we go. Cheers. Cheers, bros.
Salud.
And let's give this a taste.
It smells amazing.
Wow. So, wow. Grimm, I mean, I personally feel Grimm kills it every time. For me, I'm a big IPA guy, and when and I know Grimm does do IPAs and DIPAs, and they do them well, but that's not why people go to Grimm. They go to Grimm for the sours, the tart beers, the Berliner Weissers, and I think this is a very unique entry into that field. I mean, you definitely get there certainly is the sugariness to this beer, right?
But dude, just the kick to it when you take that sip, it's wow, this is actually really impressive. I did not expect this to be this good.
It's like a journey in your mouth. Out
of like galaxy punch.
No, because literally the beer almost transforms, like from the first taste when it hits your olfactory senses, and then when you wash it down your throat. Like, I mean, it's like a flavor journey. It's quite different. You know,
it changes. Yeah, it does.
And it's a small period of time, but it does, right? It's different from when it touches your tongue to when you actually swallow it down. It's like a flavor explosion in a way.
I mean, it tastes great when you first take a sip on it, but once you swallow, you kind of get that last final pop, almost like an explosion to it at the end. It's really
hence the pop series.
Yeah. I guess it's
a
fitting name for it. Yeah.
Fun fact for our audience, if you guys follow the blogs, Kevin has been on he's been featured in a couple of blogs. One of them was actually in Greenpoint with Rachael when we went to go check that out. And another one was actually again here in Long Island when we were doing a tasting, and one of the beers that we tasted was part of the Grimm Pop series,
which was almost an impromptu trip too, because we actually went to Toys R Us to get a couple gifts for the kids, and we realized, hey, the brewery's right over there. Why don't we stop by, have a few things, and ended up being some of the better beers we've tasted while we've been out east.
When we went to the Greenpoint that trip,
some of the better beers we've had.
Greenport, excuse me. Yeah, honestly, I really like what Greenport's doing, and we had a great flight that night. We had a couple of other beers. I really think what they're doing is awesome out there. But back to this particular beer. I mean, I like. Wow, Rachel's
turn.
Rachel's killing it right now. Rachel, go ahead.
Now, I'm a fan, obviously. Like, I'm almost done. Like, straight up. You taste the vanilla in a nice way, in a really smooth, nice way. But yet,
you've always been a fan of the vanilla.
I love
vanilla. But then the sour hits you at the end.
Yes, exactly. I was gonna say, I'm like, you know what? It has like a nice little sour, almost citrusy kind of feel at the end, and it. The funny thing is that you would never expect like citrusy, sourness to mesh so well with vanilla, but they played it off. They genuinely played it off. It's literally a nice dessert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would agree, and that's how I ordered these beers. I figured, obviously, I based them on my palate, but I figured what would be a good beer journey for us. And I feel like the way we started, then we went to the middle in the portions, and now how we're ending, I think it's fantastic. And Kevin, what do you think?
Are we
Wait. Hang on. Let's go back. Let's start with Rachael, left to right. Let's go with look.
All right, look. We're starting with me. Okay,
yeah, we're starting with you.
Okay. It's a very pale. All right, I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks.
It's a little light.
It's very light, very almost now. This is like a lemonade-ish color, like a dark lemonade-ish color. This one is the lemonade-ish color, but it's with the even though with that bright yellow color, it's a beautiful drink.
Yes,
it genuinely is. Like when it comes to taste, when it comes to aroma. It is delicious. It genuinely is delicious.
Wait, hang on. You didn't give it a rating.
Oh.
What's your rating?
Okay, my overall rating.
No. Your color rating.
Okay, color rating. I'm not a huge fan of the color.
Okay, fair enough. Just be honest.
I'm just being straight up. The color rating. Okay, fine. The first number that comes to me is like 3.8.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll look at this, and for me, this color is more impressive than the previous beer.
Really? Okay.
Only because, I totally understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like I don't drink many beers that are this complexion. So I would say a 4.
I'm with Peter on this one just because, honestly, I was about to say the exact same thing that you were saying, was that the last beer looked more generic. This looks, I'm not saying I'm a crazy fan of the color, but it looks a little bit different. So I would have to give it a 4, probably.
Fair enough.
Well, based on the color of the,
The color
the
seems...
logo,
the color matches the label in some weird way.
There
There you go.
Your unicorn.
There you go. All right, and now and Rachel's making us look bad because she's killing this beer. She likes this beer.
She likes it.
Okay, I really like it.
I knew you would. That's why I added it. So
Thank you very much.
now going on to the next round, which is smell. What would you give this in terms of smell?
All right, I love the smell. Love it. It is like the vanilla is so nice. It's so subtle, but yet it's so there. The smell is delicious. I honestly, I would make a candle out of this smell.
You make yes, I like that.
It's not like the vanilla is not assaulting you, but it's like it's really subtle. It's really nice. It is delicious. I like it. I would give it a 4.7 for crying out loud. I'm like a huge fan of the smell.
4.7, that's really high. I dig that. I really like the smell, too. I really like the fact that they are focusing here on the Galaxy hop, which is from Australia, typically used as a late addition. Aroma and flavor characteristics become more pronounced in the later edition. I'm a fan of this hop, and I'm a fan of what they're doing. I mean, It smells so good. It smells like a sweet, sour kind of mix, but it's so delicately done where the sweet leads. There's a little bit of sour at the end. So if you're a big sour person, this may not, this isn't necessarily for you. I mean, you'll still probably like it, but it's not maybe what you would be normally accustomed to. But it all comes together quite well.
Wait, quick question. Like, what is this kind of beer?
This type of beer is considered a Berliner Weisse. It's a dessert style beer. The Berliner Weissers typically tend to be fruity, sour beers or sour-esque beers, and they tend to be for the after dinner. I mean, you could drink them whenever, but they tend to be for after dinner style consumption.
It tastes like a dessert beer.
It smells like a dessert beer. It smells like a sugary, beautiful dessert beer. On the smell, I would give this 4.4.
I would probably give it a 4.5, and honestly, I mean, between what both of you have already said, there's not much left to be said about it. Just as you said, it has a very sweet smell to it, which then gets followed by a nice soury type of smell to it. But neither of the two, either the sweet or the sour, is overwhelming. It's very well balanced. It's just good overall. Yeah.
Excellent. And now, Rachel, you already finished yours.
I know.
Let's really quickly. We got to wrap this show up. Let's really quickly do taste, and then overall, Rachel, taste. What would you give it?
All right, solid 4.5.
Fair enough. For me, 4.5. I really like this. It was enjoyable. Kevin.
Taste, I would have to say, probably I would give it a 4.6 for the taste. I really enjoyed the combination of the sweetness mixed with the sour that hits you at the end. And overall, with the beer, I give it a 4.3, 4.4 overall for the beer, as a whole. I really, really enjoyed this.
And, I'm right there with you. I think I would give this overall, again, in specific situations, right? So I wouldn't drink this all day.
I agree with that.
But having this as I would have a glass of this, or maybe two at tops, and I would enjoy the hell out of it. I would certainly be wary of how I pair it, but overall, I think it's really nice. It's really well done. I would say again, I would give this for what it is. I would say a 4.5 overall. Rachel, overall.
All right, overall. Okay, I've come to realize I'm a huge fan of like fruity drinks in general. And I would say 4.6.
Excellent. So real quick before we close, do we want to go through? I think I know Rachel's answer. We'll start with Rachel. Favorite beer of the night?
All right, Grimm.
Grimm Galaxy Pop.
Grimm Galaxy Pop.
Kevin?
It's me. You don't pronounce this for me, huh?
Yeah, Kevin's going with the Cuvée Van de Keizer.
Yeah, that style.
The Belgian style.
If there's a Belgian in it, I'm probably going to pick that as my favorite.
And for me, although all of them are really good, I have to say, I'm going to go with the Grimm. I'm going to go with the Grimm Gal.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to
I
go
was
with
not.
That's surprising.
I
figured you'd
know.
go for the single cut.
the single cut was very good. Very, very good. And honestly, I'm sad if this is the last time they do this. But maybe it's because I oversaturate myself with IPAs and double IPAs. I've been drinking them all day today, all day yesterday. So maybe that has affected my palate.
But that's shocking. I thought we were gonna have like.
I thought it was a solid.
I thought we were gonna be divided 3 ways between the 3 different beers.
Honestly, I'll caveat it with saying it was very close, but I'll give the Grimm Galaxy Pop a slight edge.
No hate towards the Grimm Pop. That was definitely. I would put that in second place of what we drank today. That was definitely. It was great. You know, can't say nothing. Can't say anything bad about it. Honestly.
Excellent. All right. So with that said, this was an official. I know we said it was a shorter episode. We lied, but thank you if you listen throughout the whole thing. We definitely appreciate your support. We'll probably end up doing a blog that corresponds to this, so please check that out. But yeah, I mean, this was a good time. Rachael, any parting words?
Thanks for joining in. I'm actually kind of drunk, to be honest with you.
Here.
and you know what? It's official that the lamb rack is done. It's
been done. We need to go eat.
Yeah, it's been done, and it smells absolutely delicious.
So I have to ask this question. It has nothing related to beer. I have to ask 2 questions for everybody, and then we're going to wrap this up. All right. First, favorite rap group, rapper, or rap album?
All right, Kev, you can answer this first.
Hey, if you're gonna go rap group, and you live in New York, can you do anything other than Wu-Tang Clan? Honestly, if you're doing a rap group,
great choice. I would put Mobb Deep in front of Wu-Tang, but Wu-Tang is still phenomenal.
I feel like I guess just because Mobb Deep, they were great. You know, they came out strong with those first couple albums, but man, look at the talent that was in Wu-Tang. You had RZA.
Well, you have like a dozen guys. Yeah,
well, at one point,
fair enough.
I feel like everybody was in Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, Wu-Tang Clan is the group. Favorite rapper of all time?
That's too hard. That's another show.
Yeah, it really is. Because it depends on what your criteria is. Do you want lyricism? Do you want the charisma? Do you want the whole package? Like, what do you want? Like, what are you defining?
All right, so you're in an elevator. The elevator goes down to the ground floor. It opens. What rapper is standing there for you to listen to? What mixtape, CD, album, download? What's there? Don't even think. Bang! You're in the elevator. It's about to open. It's opened. Who's there?
Oh my god! I can't do that. It's too hard. That's too hard. There's too much criteria between
says the rap heads right here.
Rachel,
Rachel,
is it
just too many
hip-hop
factors?
heads.
There's too many factors you have to kind of sort through before you can say who what is your criteria?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair. No, that's fair.
All right,
that's fair.
Don't
Rachel,
worry, I'll help you all.
Is it the Fugees for you?
Hey, come on, the Fugees had a couple good albums.
They did.
Yes, they did.
They did.
They really did. Okay, hands down, I have to say I'm a fan of Mobb Deep.
Yes.
Sorry.
Queens all day, baby.
Sorry, Kev. I love Wu-Tang,
it's because you've been married to him this whole time.
Yes.
That's what it is.
All right, I'm just saying, I like Mobb Deep. And hands down, one of the best rappers, I gotta say, is Eminem. I like Eminem.
From a technician standpoint, you can say that. I say his ability to rhyme words together that just make you say, "Holy crap! How did you do
it's
that?"
Amazing.
That.
Yeah.
He definitely has. I feel like since all those personal issues came into his life, he has fallen off a little bit. But
agree.
He for a time, in the late '90s, early 2000s, I don't think you could, you could do much better than him at that time. But man, it's rough because it's
hard.
Like I said, there's too many criteria. What do you want? Do you want lyricism? Do you want charisma?
We want a lot of things.
It's a lot.
Okay, and final question before we go, starting with Rachael. Equally important. Rachael, favorite wrestler.
What the hell, wrestler?
Come on,
All right.
Rachael, come on.
Okay, I'm going to give you the best wrestler, hands down. Shout out to The Rock.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Rock fan.
So, going to me real quick. It's a tie. and I'll give you an honorable mention because I'm cheating. The tie is between Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the honorable mention is HBK. Kevin?
HBK is not a bad choice as an honorable mention, especially since he co-founded DX with Triple H, back in '97. But for me, as somebody who grew up during the Attitude Era, it has to be Stone Cold. There's nobody else like that. That was the guy.
He's the man.
He foiled all of McMahon's plots. He'd come out. He'd just he'd raise hell for the good of the people.
Doesn't matter.
He'd
The
always,
Rock is the best.
Yeah. Man.
The Rock is great.
The
Rock is great.
Rock was great, but when Austin was at his peak, The Rock was always going to be number 2.
Mhm.
Nobody was going to beat Austin in his hell raising, driving Zambonis through the arena to beat up Vince McMahon. There was always Austin was the man during that peak Attitude Era. He definitely
Absolutely. All right, agree. And I guess we went a little off the rails a little bit, but you know what? It's all good. We had a great time. We had 3 beers. We 3 delicious beers that we enjoyed very, very much. Rachel, thank you so much for hopping on yet another show. You've been on several shows, several blogs. You are the queen of Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And Kevin, thank you for your first official appearance on the show. You've been in several blogs. You're going to be in several more. I hope you're on several more shows. But thank you for officially appearing. You are an official motherfucking BTBT goon. I hope you had a good time, Kevin.
I did. It was a little bit of different snare for me. Never been on a podcast before, but it was definitely a fun time. And I thank you for having me.
Excellent. And until next time, no matter where you are in the world, drink local, drink fresh, repeat. Cheers.
Cheers.
How did your podcast go?
How do you think it went?
I don't know. Good.
Yeah, as long as you like it, I think that's cool.
So long as I played the Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thanks for listening to this week's show. We really appreciate the support. Stay tuned because we've got a lot of exciting shows and special guests coming at you soon. Want to find out more about the Craft Beer Odyssey? Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, subscribe to the show on iTunes or Podbean. Until next week, you know what it is. Drink local, drink fresh, repeat. This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow, signing off. Cheers.